From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Sean Thompson. And this is the Sean Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
I can't stand Republicans slightly less than my absolute contempt for mafia Democrats. And keep in mind, what this show is exactly that. This is the beginning of the third party. I don't want to hear one fracking nonsense. Oh, the Republicans are great. Everybody stepped and fetched to the Republicans. Bush 1, Bush 2. There were a couple of moments that I truly enjoyed. And there may be just one of those establishment Republicans I miss.
As we know, there are known knowns. There are things we know.
Uh-huh.
We also know there are known unknowns. That is to say, we know there are some things we do not know.
All right.
But there are also unknown unknowns. The ones we don't know, we don't know.
I mean, that is brilliant. That's a whole lot of nothing. And everybody in the room was too embarrassed to say, what the frack did he say? I absolutely love it. But he was talking about the Middle East. And now I can't help but notice all of these young fellas. What do they call them there, Squirrel? Podcasters. And they're going around, and most of them are selling some line of bull dung, and most of them are paid from some form of the Islamo-Nazis, which really means they're paid by us because they didn't have any money. They had nothing. It was us that taught them how to even pump the oil out of the ground. It's still being pumped right now as we speak on both J.D. Rockefeller oil wells and on Gavin Newsom's, his real benefactor, John Paul Getty. That's the only reason we hear anything about the Middle East. And when it comes to oil and all the finance porn of a collapse, all the oil, it's because they're preying on the people who remember when they had, unfortunately, the curse of stupidity and the Democrat chill. By the way, financed by the Rockefeller Foundation. Did you know this, Squirrel? The Rockefellers financed Jimmy the Peanut.
We need to have a realization that we've got about 35 years worth of oil left in the whole world. We're going to run out of oil.
And when that moron said that, do you know what the production of oil was in America? About 3 million barrels a day. Do you know what it is today, Squirrel? It's about 22 million a day, as we are an exporter of oil. We don't need any of that fracking Middle East oil. By the way, it sucks. We have the sweet crude. They have the Gatsangul oil. It's just like everything else. Sucks, except for the yogurt. Very good. And those pita, whew, love it. But the rest of it, all garbage. And that's why we need to settle so much of the atrocities that have been going on, regardless of what podcasters think. Do you know about the Marines and you know the song, Squirrel? You know the one. It's arguably, I mean, they're all fantastic, but this one.
From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli.
It's the best song, the best uniform, and the reason is 8 Marines kicked the ass of the Barbary pirates, who were enslaving all people, but specifically Americans, for years. And do you know what the Barbary pirates were, Squirrel? You guessed it. The yabba dabba doos, where the goats are nervous and the women have bruises.
For over 300 years, they terrorized the seas, burning villages, hijacking ships, and dragging over 1 million Europeans and Americans into slavery. They were called the Barbary Pirates, and for centuries they ruled unchallenged. But in 1805, just 8 U.S. Marines crossed a desert to do what no European power could: bring the pirate empire to its knees. This is the forgotten war that ended white slavery in North Africa. The Empire of Chains. From the 16th to the 19th centuries, a nightmare gripped the coasts of Europe and the Mediterranean. Barbary corsairs, operating from the Islamic states of Morocco, Algiers, Tunis, and Tripoli, swept across the seas like a plague. Their mission was clear: steal ships, capture people, and sell them into slavery.
It is the religion, it is the Islamo-Nazi fanatics that are still practicing this terror to this day, regardless of what podcasters who want to rewrite history because they simply are too stupid to know it.
Mr. President, 3 years after your revolution, you still have serious internal problems with what you call counter-revolutionaries. And Amnesty International says that you've executed almost 4,000 of those people, and we hear other reports of jailings and torture. That makes people...
1979. That's the interview you're listening to. That is the first interview that inspired the fantastic T-shirts that said F the Ayatollah that Homer Simpson refused to get rid of.
Can we get rid of this Ayatollah T-shirt? Khomeini died years ago.
But Marge, it works on any Ayatollah. Ayatollah Nakbada, Ayatollah Zahedi. Even as we speak, Ayatollah Razmara and his cadre of fanatics are consolidating their power.
I don't care who's consolidating their power.
Now we're on the third Khomeini, the third. And they keep going and going and going. And it's the same policies, only more failure, more torture, more chaos. Kind of like the mayor of Chicago, which we should just start calling Ayatollahs now.
On the outside, think that one reign of terror under the Shah has merely been replaced by another reign of terror under your regime.
ما از غرب انتظار نداریم که واقعیات جامعه
1979, they had killed 30,000 of their own people as they continued to kill. Every year, every day, hangings for the strangest of things. For instance, if Iran was in charge of America, there would be no San Francisco or Portland anymore. And here's how fast they can replace them.
All right, viewers, there's another big breaking news coming in, and this is related to the supreme leader of Iran, the next supreme leader. As per the sources, reportedly being said, breaking news coming in from Iran, Mujtaba Khamenei has reportedly, as per sources, been named as the next supreme leader. Son of the late Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has been elected.
See, I like my bad news with an accent, Squirrel. I'm silly that way. It's like when I like to eat my guacamole. I don't want it given to me by a guy from Bridgeport. I like an accent with it. That's just me. When it comes to lying, I like when it's done by Democrat lowlifes who have perfected lying. Like Chuck Connors here. High cheekbones. White as Ed Burke's ass. Telling everybody she's an Indian for 40 fracking years.
I just left a classified briefing on Iran, and here's what I can say. It is so much worse than you thought.
Is it worse than it was in 1979 when they killed 30,000 within the first 6 months? What the frack do you know? She's one of those idiots who probably the podcasters say, you know what? Socialism isn't so bad. I mean, after all, look at all the politicians who preach it. They're all worth millions.
You're right to be worried. Trump administration has no plan in Iran. This illegal war is based on lies, and it was launched without any imminent threat to our nation.
Says who? The Indian? How do you know what the threats were? It's a very interesting reality when you realize what the threats were to the decent Iranians, to the non-Islamo-Nazi Iranians, to the Iranians who are nameless, who have been killed and murdered for years. You know who knew this, Squirrel? You wouldn't believe it. The Duchess of Chaffington, Bill Clinton's wife, or as she refers to Bill, her beard.
There's a early 2014 email from Hillary Clinton, so not so long after she left Secretary of State, to her campaign manager, John Podesta. That email, it states that ISIS, is funded by Saudi Arabia and Qatar, the governments of Saudi Arabia and Qatar. Now, this is I think this is the most significant email in the whole collection. And perhaps because Saudi and Qatari money is spread all over the place, including into many media institutions.
Maybe some podcasters who want to rewrite history and pretend everything was roses. Thankfully, we had 8 Marines who kicked their ass.
We fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and
that's why there isn't the support there should be. Because people are too stupid to know how long this has been going on. Morons who have no idea what winning looks like, and they don't know how to win anymore. They're in lies our problem. If only we had Bagram.
I stand before you today with one unmistakable message about Operation Epic Fury. America is winning, decisively, devastatingly, and without mercy. Starting last night and to be completed in a few days, in under a week, the two most powerful air forces in the world will have complete control of Iranian skies, uncontested airspace.
You know, this used to be common knowledge, world, where even people who couldn't stand politics, like me, hated both sides, wicked smart. He was a little wrong, though, about God and everything, but when it comes to smart, I miss him almost as much as I miss Rumsfeld. And no matter what it was, when Christopher Hitchens talked, he at least knew the proper description of what we were combating, always and forever, since the very founding of this country.
1788, when the United States was barely a country, right, it was having its sailors taken as slaves by the Barbary states, the states of the Ottoman Empire in North Africa. Tripoli,
The shores of Tripoli.
Shores of Tripoli. And its people, his ships stopped, its crews carried off into slavery. We estimate 1.5 million European and American slaves taken between 1750 and 1815.
Did you hear that? In 100 years, 1.5 million Europeans and Americans, new Americans, taken. And all we needed to do was send 8 Marines to kick their ass.
Jefferson and Adams went to their ambassador in London and said, why do you do this to us? The United States has never had a quarrel with the Muslim world of any kind. We weren't in the Crusades. We weren't in the war in Spain. Why do you do this to our people and our ships? Why do you plunder and enslave our people? And the ambassador said very plainly, Mr. Abdul Rahman said, because the Quran gives us permission to do so, because you are infidels. And that's our answer. And Jefferson said, well, in that case, I will send a navy which will crush your state, which he did, and a good thing, too. Islamic fundamentalism is not created by American democracy. It's a lie to say so. It's a masochistic lie, and it excuses those who are the real criminals, and it blames us for the attacks made upon us. Don't have anything to do with this mentality.
And that's a guy who hated Republicans and hated Democrats, but he loved the Enlightenment. He loved the idea of freedom. You know who doesn't? The Barbary Pirates, which is going to be their new nickname for the Islamo-Nazis.
This is the story of America's first war as an independent country and how it explains the wars in the Middle East today. In the 1780s, state-sanctioned pirates from the Islamic Barbary states of North Africa were attacking American ships and enslaving or kidnapping their crews. And as the great Christopher Hitchens recalled, future President Thomas Jefferson visited London to see the ambassador of Tripoli and demand an explanation. The United States was barely a country. It had been at peace for 3 years and didn't have either the Constitution or its first president yet. The US was still confined to the East Coast, and no American soldier or Navy ship had any presence in the Muslim world. There was no territorial, economic dispute or grievance of any kind. And yet, when Jefferson asked the ambassador, why is it that you attack a nation that has done you no harm? And the ambassador replied, because the Quran gives us the right to do so.
So all of this nonsense about the unprovoked, the way that they got along was they lied to us when we bribed them with billions and billions and billions like they were Minnesota Somalians. And that's how the Obama administration pretended to keep a lid on it. But they really didn't keep a lid on it. They just funded both sides of it, as Donald Rumsfeld tried to explain.
As we know, there are known knowns. There are things we know we know. We also know there are known unknowns. That is to say, we know there are some things we do not know. But there are also unknown unknowns. The ones we don't know, we don't know.
Here's what the world knows. 8 of our Marines kicked their ass at the founding of our nation, and we're going to kick their ass again. And you know when it's over? When they stop wiggling with that nonsense. 312-642-5600.
What if everything you've been told about government, healthcare, poverty, energy, and even science is a carefully constructed lie? In Sean Thompson's new book, What If It's All a Lie? Sean Thompson dismantles the myths at the core of modern America. This is the book the ruling class doesn't want you to read. And once you do, you won't see the world the same way again. Order your copy today at SeanThompsonShow.com.